Hello and welcome to another half hour of movie talk here on Big Centre. Coming up on this week's show, we'll be meeting the marketing coordinator at Wolverhampton's Lighthouse to find out about its forthcoming attractions and why it's become much more than just a place to show films. First though, let's take a look at some of the latest new releases at our local cinemas. And it doesn't seem like 5 minutes since the Fantastic Four burst onto our cinema screens in the shape of Chris Evans, Jessica Alba and company in two movies which were certainly box office hits. But a bit like Spider-Man, it's being rebooted less than a decade later. The format's the same, but the faces are different. The Fantastic Four of 2015 is made up of Miles Teller, the youngster who was put through the ringer in Whiplash, a fabulous film at the start of this year, Kate Mara, Michael B. Jordan and Billy Elliot himself, Jamie Bell. See what you make of this.
I'm building something. Reed, did it work? I don't know yet.
We gave you 6 years and millions of dollars, and you gave us nothing. What's different now?
Reed Richards. He developed a fully working model.
There are no greater minds than the ones in this room.
I gotta say, it's fun having you here.
Really?
No.
You've cracked interdimensional travel.
Together, you could change the course of history.
You guys sure you're in the best shape to be doing this?
Yeah.
3,
We're good.
2, 1.
Due to a tragic accident, the survivors all exhibit unique physical conditions. These abilities will have endless real-world applications.
You mean weaponization?
All I want to know is where are my children? You have no idea what they are planning to do to you. Listen to me.
That's what got me here in the first place.
I just want to fix my friends.
We can't fix this. Nobody can.
You don't know anything about what's coming.
What is coming?
Doom. The end of your world is the beginning of mine.
He's stronger than any of us.
But he's not stronger than all of us. You guys ready to have your minds blown?
Shall I alert the fire department?
Well, I've got to be honest with you here, I did find this film to be a big disappointment. For die-hard Marvel comic fans, it doesn't offer enough fantasy action, and the baddie Doctor Doom is disappointingly tame. There's no jeopardy, and the film takes an age to get going. I think that's probably because, unlike most superhero movies, it's got to flesh out the backstories to 4 different characters before it can get going. Here are those characters preparing to teleport themselves through the interdimensional travel portal that they've invented.
This is Ben.
What's up?
Do his Lucky Charm?
You guys sure you're in the best shape to be doing this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're good.
So, I guess I should come up with something better than one small step for man.
Strap in or get comfy, kids. We're about to make history.
Yeah, or die. Either or. All right, gentlemen. Hands and feet must remain inside the ride at all times. Don't blow up. Don't blow up.
Oh, yeah, that's what I want to hear before going into another dimension.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So there you have it. I have a feeling that Marvel's run of mega hits could just have run into its own black hole with this one. It's only 1 hour 40 minutes long, but for me it felt much longer. Also new at cinemas this week is a film called The Gift. This one stars Jason Bateman as a computer security expert who moves back to his hometown with an emotionally brittle wife played by Rebecca Hall. And it's not long before they cross paths with one of his old school pals who is, shall we say, a little bit odd.
This is a mid-century modern home. This view is fantastic. The lighting is great.
You like it?
Yeah, do you?
This is good. I'm very happy.
Excuse me, is your name Simon?
Yes,
It
sir.
is you. We went to school together.
This is my wife, Robin. This is, I didn't get your name.
Gordon Mosley. Gordo.
Gordo? Oh, my God. I'm so sorry I didn't recognize you. It's been a very, very long time. Welcome home, smiley face, Gordo.
How do you think he got our address? That's an expensive bottle of wine. We should thank him.
I believe that the bad things in life, they can be a gift.
That guy's odd.
He's a little socially awkward, but I can be like that. Gordo, hi.
Hi.
After high school, some people stay exactly the same.
Thank you.
He's delusional and thinks that we're friends.
Thanks for a lovely dinner.
Fish food. You don't find that a little troubling?
I said that I wanted fish.
And all the visits when you're alone. They used to call him Gordo the Weirdo.
I think he's nice, and he's been very generous.
What you're talking about is a one-sided friendship. You're essentially being forced into a breakup.
There's no easy way to say this. Don't visit us anymore.
It's not over.
Simon, after all these years, I was willing to let bygones be bygones.
What does that mean?
I do not know.
But it must mean something. Hello? Bygones be bygones after all these years.
What the hell was that?
That was big.
Gordo!
What does bygones be bygones mean?
It's over!
Simon has a full file on him.
You think he's been lying to you?
Just tell me what happened.
It's 25 years ago.
I have no idea who you really are.
Simon says, new house. Simon says, beautiful wife. Simon says, you think you're done with the past, but the past is not done with you.
Well, The Gift has a bit of fun, gently toying with the conventions of the creepy horror movie genre without ever straying too far from the tried and tested formula. You have a feeling there's a more radical movie trying to burst out. Performances are lively though, and it's certainly worth a watch. Now, sitting pretty at the top of the box office right now is the fifth Mission Impossible movie, Rogue Nation. And part of the film's success is down to the determination of 53-year-old Tom Cruise to do most of his own stunts, even hanging off the side of an aeroplane at one point. You don't believe me? Well, have a look at this.
Can't hang a multi-million-dollar star on the outside of an aeroplane and fly around in the normal world. But Tom wanted to be on the outside of that plane.
I couldn't sleep the night before, and then came the day. I was like, okay, this is really gonna happen.
You ready?
Let's go. I kind of thought that was a one take, but he did it 8 times. If something went wrong, I can't get into the airplane till we land.
Okay, guys, please take your seats.
There's no little crash and a scratch. You're dead.
Ready, and action!
I'm feeling the force of the wind hit me. I'm actually scared of this.
For my money, Rogue Nation is probably the best Mission Impossible movie yet, and I think the series has got plenty of gas in the tank still to come. After all, Tom Cruise isn't 60 for another 7 years. After the break, we'll be turning the spotlight on the Lighthouse in Wolverhampton, but I'll leave you with a look behind the scenes at Reese Witherspoon's latest cops and robbers drama, Hot Pursuit.
You
escort our witness to Dallas so she can testify against Cortez.
Mrs. Reba, we have got to get going.
Look at you, you're teeny tiny. You're like a little dog that I can put in my purse.
That stuff they're saying about us on the TV isn't true.
Officer Cooper stands at 4 feet 11 inches.
Oh, come on.
The other suspect, a 45-year-old Latina woman, is...
Ay, madre. This movie is about two women who could not be more opposite.
They end up having like this road trip from hell.
You have to stop treating me like I'm some sort of stupid rookie cop.
And you have to stop treating me like I am a criminal.
Everybody's trying to kill them, but they kind of hate each other, need each other, and they need to learn to like each other.
It seems to be a Buddha sitting on a wave, or a bottle of barbecue sauce guarded by two snakes, possibly a peanut in a puddle.
It's a cow. It's a longhorn.
Scratch that. Tattoo was a longhorn.
Nice police work, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
Cooper's kind of a goof and, like, just keeps messing up. I know this isn't practical, but we might have to catch our own food. Been making a big mess of her life. I have a tendency to be hyper-focused, so it's difficult to relate to people when there's a task at hand.
Exactly. 10, 5, 20. I am Warren.
Please do not make
10,
fun of me.
45. I'm right and you're wrong.
Welcome back. Now, my studio guest this week is the Marketing and Events Manager at Lighthouse Centre in Wolverhampton. I'm deliberately not calling it Lighthouse Cinema because it's become a venue which is about much, much more than just showing films. Julie Humphrey, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I mean, I've been to the Lighthouse many, many times and usually for a different type of experience. And just explain the centre to people who've maybe not been before.
Lighthouse, it is a cinema. It's the Black Country's only independent cinema. But it's so much more than that. So there's a cafe bar, but it's more than a cafe bar. It holds language cafes, which are free social events held a few times a week with different languages, people talking in the bar in French or Spanish or whatever. You might find people in the gallery. We've got galleries with photography to art throughout the year. We've got 2 galleries. We've also got events in our big, I don't know if you've been in the atrium, the big courtyard area, the big Victorian courtyard. We have anything on there from jazz once a month to, we've had Northern Soul nights, dances, that sort of thing. So there's so much going on that people come to the cinema and then they pick up a programme and they come back to something else.
It's part of the challenge, isn't it, though, for an independent cinema to position itself in the market in a different place to the multiplexes, which are serving one particular need. But you can't compete with them, can you?
Well, it's not even a case of competing. I think as cinemas in general, it's become much more event cinema now because we're competing with being able to get films pretty much straight away after release in your own home. So we've got to offer something more. Now, the people that come to Lighthouse, what we like about Lighthouse is that you've got people that just like to come and hang out, because there's hipster sorts that like talking about independent film and then they'll go and discuss it afterwards, right through to the pensioners that come on a Wednesday afternoon, pay £4, a special price, get a free tea or coffee, have a chat, and then go and see whatever's on. So, I mean...
That's one of the big differences, isn't it? You'll get regulars that come regardless as to what the film actually is because of the experience, whereas at other venues, they'll go because of the movie.
Exactly.
And that's one of the big differences,
it becomes more of a community. I mean, a really good example of this was, we're going back a couple of years now, but do you remember when Les Mis was out? It was cold winter, it was absolutely freezing cold, and we had such big queues for the Wednesday matinee. And we couldn't let everyone in because we were full. But upstairs, we had a Tarantino showing. But as you can imagine, it was kind of like, I'm not sure if you're going to like it. But fair play to them. Our older lady said, well, let us be the judge of that. And they went up to the Tarantino and loved it. And said, probably not what we'd choose, but we're glad we went. And so they trust our judgment. And so we might show a documentary and they might never have seen a documentary before, but they know we'll put something on that's really going to make them think.
It's one of the most important jobs, I imagine, at Lighthouse is the job of the film booker. Because, I mean, mentally, when a new film comes out, I'll see it and I'll think, yeah, that's probably something Lighthouse would want. Or, we talked about Fantastic Four in the first half. That's something I imagine you probably wouldn't be showing.
Probably not, no.
Whereas, Helen Mirren's and your Dame Judi Dench's and Maggie Smith movies, it's that sort of thing, isn't it?
There is that, but there's that way of looking at it. You know that we're going to have pretty much anything that Judi Dench is in. But it's not just that, it's pretty much a lot of the independent ones that Kelly, who's our CEO, will have seen at film festivals or read about or researched. she has a good feeling for what our audience is like, and it's not just one sort of film. So say if when you get the programme through once a month, you actually people aren't just glancing at it; they're quite eager to see what the difference is. And what I really like is that people do take a risk, you know. And obviously we do a lot of world cinema as well. And you get a lot of people that have never seen a German film, never seen a French film, and a few years ago, some people wouldn't have done that. But I think there's a lot of things on TV now, a lot of the sort of murder mysteries that are subtitled. People have got used to subtitles. It's not such a scary thing anymore.
Some of the great Scandinavian dramas with subtitles in are absolutely fantastic, aren't they?
Yeah, so people aren't too scared anymore. And because we're choosing the very, very best of world cinema, it means that if you're going to a German film or a French film or whatever, they tend to be the very, very best of them.
What about opportunities for local filmmakers here in the region? How closely do you work with them?
They tend to come to us when they've got a premiere. So the Doreen film, the comedy film.
David Tristram's, yes.
Yes, so we'll be showing that at its first night and that sort of thing. We work alongside filmmakers, and they'll come to us and they know that we're going to have a really special event for them. And we showed the Bollywood film Yoda early this year. We had the Western premiere for that. The big red carpet, lots of local celebrities, that sort of thing. And that got on the local news, and it's a sort of place where we just really appreciate the work that goes into it, and that they want that sort of VIP welcome locally.
Talking of things that are in the news headlines, one of the things that I know you've got going on at the moment is this initiative called Full Beam, isn't it? Tell us about it. I mean, this is taking Lighthouse out into the open air, isn't it?
Well, the reason that we're involved with Full Beam Festival is that Stella, who is running the festival, came to us a couple of years ago as a student. We put her on a work placement in Ireland on a film festival, and that's how we got to know her. And when she went to do her MA at university, she became involved in a competition, a business competition with Deutsche Bank, to come up with the best event. And she put forward a drive-in film festival in Kidderminster. And she actually ended up winning the competition. And so when she won the competition, she started planning it, and she came to me because we'd worked closely together and said, you know, can you give me some advice on the marketing of the running of it? So we just wanted to help her as much as possible. And as you can see, that's the result is this amazing 2-day drive-in film festival.
Tell us, there's four films, headline films.
There's 4 headline films plus locally made shorts as well. I mean, anyone can go on the website, the Full Beam Film Festival website, and have a look. But the 4 main films are on the Friday, the 21st of August. We've got Annie Hall at 8:30. We think this is sort of the date night, really. So we've got Annie Hall, and then we've got The Big Lebowski, which is the late film, at 11. And then on the Saturday, it's more of a party feel, I think, because at 8:30 we've got Dirty Dancing, which is selling incredibly well, so get in quick if you want that one. And then we've got Night of the Living Dead at 11 o'clock. So if people can dress up, then that'll be fantastic.
That lends itself brilliantly to costumes, doesn't it?
Both of those do, and you'll see from the photos that I've brought that we've had some real fun with Stella, putting together some mashups of Dirty Dancing and zombies. So have a look at that on Twitter as well, Full Beam Film. If you have a look on there, you'll be able to see the pictures.
We will, and we'll keep in touch. We'll update viewers on that next week as well, if we can. So I mean, that just gives you a flavour of the diverse kind of jobs, I guess, that the Lighthouse in general, and you particularly, get involved in at the moment. You're also involved in film and animation education as well, aren't you?
Yes, we've had a fantastic opportunity this year. The British Film Institute and the National Lottery have funded a free course to be held this summer for 14 to 19-year-olds. It's called See It, Make It, and it's for people that are interested in animation or film. And we've got a few places left, particularly for people interested in animation.
Is that taking place at Lighthouse?
It's at Lighthouse. Now, it's going to be held the 17th to the 28th of August, so the Monday to Friday for 2 weeks. So students that are interested in taking part should be available for both weeks.
And what sort of stage of advancement do they need to be at? Is it from beginners right the way through?
Absolute beginners. All they need to do is be keen. That's all we're asking for. They don't need any previous knowledge or qualifications. And 14 to 19, obviously there's quite a big stretch in ability over that, so they'll be put in appropriate groups. We've brought in specialist trainers, so they'll get the very best of it. And it's a BFI project as well, so you can't get much better than that.
No. Is it the first time you've done this?
It is, yeah. Certainly we used to do courses years ago for older people, but this is the first one for quite a long time. So if people want to find out more about that, I'd get in quickly. There's only a few places left. But if they go to the Lighthouse website, it's light-house.co.uk. There's a banner at the top with See It, Make It, and just click on that and you'll find all the details.
Excellent. See, there's so much going on. You've had to write all these things down, haven't we? What else? What else have we got?
Okay. I'll tell you about some films if you like.
Yes, absolutely. Coming up over the next week or two.
If anyone's in Wolverhampton, you pop into the Chubb buildings where we're placed, you can pick up one of our big bright programmes and have a look through. Loads of films on. So I've picked 3 separate sorts of films. The first one, I thought we'll go for a really accessible feel-good drama. It's called The Legend of Barney Thompson, which I'm sure you're aware of. It's directed by and starring Robert Carlyle. And Emma Thompson's in it as well. He plays a Glaswegian barber who's very, very ordinary life, but then suddenly gets caught up in something else, which completely changes everything. So it's a comedy, but it's quite dramatic as well. That's running from the 14th to the 20th of August. We've got a documentary starting this Sunday, the 9th, going to next Thursday, the 13th. It's called The First Film, and it's really important for anyone interested in film to come and see it. We've actually got the director visiting on Monday. It's at 7:50 on Monday if you want to meet the director and ask him questions. The reason it's called The First Film is that David Wilkinson, the director, has researched that the first film may well have been filmed in Yorkshire and made in Yorkshire. Everybody was fighting to make the first film at the time, but he's found enough evidence to suggest that it was actually made here in Britain. So you can come and ask him about it and it'll be really fascinating.
So that's just an example, isn't it, of how it's more than just a film. You've actually got add-ons, you've got Q&As. We could talk about this all night, but time's got the better of us already,
yes,
would you believe? Julie, thank you for coming in.
No problem.
That's all from Brummywood, Yammywood for another week, I'm afraid. Don't forget, if you're making a film, starring in a film, or laying on a movie-related event that we could help publicise, get in touch by emailing us, movies@bigcentre.tv. I'll see you soon.